There we go.
नमस्कार दोस्तों, आज हम जा रहे हैं, हम बात करने जा रहे हैं एक बहुत ही इंटरेस्टिंग चीज के बारे में। Jim, don't you worry, I'm not gonna speak in Hindi for long. It was just the introduction, what I generally do it.
That's all right.
So, all the friends, today it's a very sudden and I haven't announced it previously, but it is super exciting thing. If you have a kid who is aged between 8 to 13, don't miss this. और अगर आपके बच्चे नहीं है, आपके आसपास भी बच्चे हैं, please communicate to them, please pass on this message because this is something very interesting, very unique. And if they have a creativity, if you have a creativity, and if you want to do something different, that's the chance, that's the scope. I'm not talking in so much of the things. Let's go straight to what we are going to talk about. Jim Schumann, welcome to Harita's Facebook Live.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here with you and your audience.
So we are going to witness soon in the near future the competition that is called First Pitch for the Australian young entrepreneurs.
That's right.
These entrepreneurs, they are really kids from the age of 8 to 13. So if you can tell us brief about how did you start it, what inspired you to have this unique concept or the competition for the Australian kids?
Absolutely. So I've always been an entrepreneur sort of my whole life. And that was actually because my parents were very entrepreneurial and they encouraged me by de facto and by default to be very entrepreneurial. So I started up the business First Pivot with a business partner. He was in entrepreneurial education and he was looking to provide a entrepreneurship curriculum that went along with his chess, his STEM, his coding, and his science curriculum. Okay. So we got together and we created a company called First Pivot. And in true fashion, you know, we did everything sort of by the book in terms of how to start up a business. We didn't invest a lot of money. We did some really good market research. He had over 600 schools in his network. We reached out to them. We got commitments from over 34 that said they were very interested. We had 3 schools that were ready to sign up. And you probably know where this story's going. This was the end of January, early February. And that second week in February, when COVID-19 became a reality, all of the schools across Australia basically sort of said, we're in survival mode. And we're just really focused on trying to understand what next week is going to look like versus trying to bring in new curriculum. Yeah. So we said, you know what, we're not just going to fold up the flag or the tent and call it a day. We really said it's a good opportunity to give something back. So particularly in the times that we're facing, where there is so much anxiety and uncertainty, the opportunity to really come up with a competition for Australian school kids across the entire nation, we started looking at, is there an existing competition similar to this? And to our surprise, we couldn't find one that was specifically focused on pitching and really just about sort of coming up with an idea and creating it and putting together a video and a nationwide competition. So we said, you know what, let's do it. I think the world needs a little bit of goodness. And we put together the website and outlined, you know, all of the criteria and what needs to happen, and began socializing that with all of the startups, the incubators, and just entrepreneurs across Australia, and phenomenal response. So it's been really, really positive. We've got some great prizes. So I think, you know, from a child's perspective, when you say, do you want to win $1,000? Most kids are like, what do I need to do? And when you talk them through, you know, sort of, all right, well, what do you see the problem, or what do you see an opportunity? And if you were to start a business, what would it be? It becomes real. And I think, you know, again, the feedback that we've seen from the ideas around what these kids are trying to do, it's very common sense sort of stuff. You know, some of them are about bringing happiness. Some of them are about making money. All of these kids are just, like I said, it's just, I think everyone's going to be really excited to see some of these ideas and see firsthand what comes out from the minds of these kids, because it really is, it's inspiring.
That's true, because kids have lots of creativity. They have lots of ideas. It's a completely unique thing. If you can say what is pitching and why it's important for the kids at this age to enter into this scenario or to think about something which is different. I'm sure I'm asking what is pitches because there are so many families there who are watching. They may not be able, or they may not know what exactly pitching is and how does it actually happen.
That's it. Now, perfect. That's a good point and a great question. There are really three things that we're trying to cover off with the competition, and that sort of fall under the focus of what we're trying to accomplish. Now, again, entrepreneurship, there's probably 15 different skills that go into the entrepreneurship. And we wanted to really focus, like I said, on just that beginning part. The three skills were the ideation, the opportunity analysis, and the pitching. So the ideation you mentioned, kids are just overflowing with ideas and creativity, and it's amazing how many they can come up with when you ask them to, take a common pencil. How many different uses can you have for a pencil? It becomes a drumstick, it becomes a spear, it becomes a magic wand. They're limitless, and some of that, I think, again, it gets sort of educated out of us as we get older. So the focus on ideation is really to understand that you do have a wealth of ideas. And, again, these ideas are valuable, whether you're just trying to make people happy or whether you're trying to be, the next Elon Musk and send rockets to the moon. It all starts with an idea. Yeah. The second opportunity, or the skill that we're focusing on, is the opportunity analysis. So if you've got a great idea or an idea, the next sort of step in the process at a very high level and a very simplistic level is to say, all right, what is the opportunity analysis for this? So one of the the best examples that we saw, and we've got this up on our website under the some of the examples of how to create a pitch. It was a similar idea to a lemonade stand, and this was a young boy in the United States. I think he might have been only 9 years old, but instead of creating a lemonade stand, he created what he called a joke stand. So at the end of his driveway, he set up a little sort of booth, and it just said joke stand. And people that walked by or drove by would stop. And I believe he had 19 different jokes that he would cycle through. And his whole purpose was really just to provide humor. He was talking to his parents and he said, I think, with COVID, we could use a little bit of happiness and I'd like to make people smile. And they said, well, that's great. And they said, here's the opportunity. Here's the analysis. There's no shortage of people. Let's set it up at the end of the driveway. So that's the second skill. The third one is around pitching. And the pitching is really about the social presentation and being able to communicate, one, your idea, the opportunity, and then being able to communicate it. So for that aspect, we're asking kids to create a 3-minute video. And this could be using YouTube, using just their iPhone or their Android device or their tablet, and just create the video and send us the link to that video that demonstrates that communication skills. And we've got some good examples of good communication skills, whether it's from Oprah Winfrey or from some other people who've actually created some pitches. That communication, it's a skill like anything else. And I think again, our whole idea with this competition is if we can get kids thinking about these things, these three things specifically, as a skill that they can learn and improve on and build upon, the world's going to be a better place for it.
Exactly. So after this pitching, is there a possibility they get encouraged to start up their own enterprise, or they'll get some boost kind of thing where they can start the kind of kickstart their journey?
100%. So for this competition, we don't have that as set up as the prize. What we're offering from a state perspective is $1,000 cash prize, as well as access to some mentors. Now, we're going to take one winner from each of the states and territories, and we're going to have a national competition, and that's going to have a panel of 3 judges. One of the judges is confirmed. It's going to be Shane Elliott, who is the CEO for the Australia-New Zealand Bank. Ultimately, I think to answer your... Pardon me?
ANZ Bank, it's easier. People can connect easily when we say ANZ.
ANZ. So, ultimately, we think, for the future years, the opportunity to have access to, some funding. I think at this level, it's really about introducing them to the idea of Kickstarter or some of the social campaigns where they can do a GoFundMe page. And I think that's a great opportunity to get some capital and really validate your idea. So understanding that there are these tools out there that if you do have a good idea, again, you can go to a bank, or you can put up a GoFundMe page or a Kickstarter page and say, here's what I'm looking for. I need $2,000 to raise this amount of money to, launch this sort of product. And if you get that money, it's a good step that, your business idea is a good idea and people are willing to invest it and vote with their wallets. So we'll definitely talk about that at the competition.
Okay. So as you say, there will be the state level competition and the national level competition. Can you elaborate a bit more about the rules and the rounds of this competition?
Yeah. So the basic rule set is it's open to all kids between ages of 8 to 13 across Australia. The competition, it is designed for kids, and it's designed to be a fun competition. So we're encouraging, the kids to do the majority of the work themselves. Obviously, if they need help, ask their parents, ask somebody for some guidance. We've got a section on the website on how to pitch, which we think is sort of a self-guided step that if you follow the steps, it talks about, again, ideation, it talks about the opportunity analysis, and it talks about putting together a presentation and telling a story. It's all about telling a really good story in that 3 minutes that you have to tell the story. All of the submissions are going to be, the closing for the submissions comes on the 2nd of October at 11:59 AEST. So Melbourne time at 11:59, just before the clock strikes 12. All of those submissions will come in. We've got over 50 judges from across Australia who've agreed to volunteer their time to review the pitches and grade them. And depending on how the grading goes, we're going to select one winner from each state based on the judges and circling those through the whole host of different judges to make sure that we get the right outcome. And then it's going to go to a live panel. So the 22nd of October, we'll have 3 judges. We're going to do a live stream similar to what you're doing right now, and give the crowd an opportunity to vote and choose a crowd favorite. There'll be a $500 prize for the crowd favorite, and the grand final winner will get another $1,000. So depending if they win, the grand final and the audience favorite, the one lucky winner could potentially get $2,500 from the competition.
So in short, like 6 or 7 from the state and then 1 from the nation.
That's right. So we'll have 1 from each state and territory. So there'll be 8 going up against it, and then there'll just be 1 national winner at the end of the 22nd. So we're excited because again, when we looked at has anybody ever done anything like this, it hasn't been done, and we've already got a lot of roadmap and a lot of good ideas for the coming years in terms of expanding it so that we've got different age brackets and taking it all the way up to year 12.
Yeah, Jim, we spoke about the competition. We spoke about how to pitch. We spoke about so many things. Is there any specific area or the sector been mentioned where the kids need to focus when they are trying? For example, do they need anything, or there are certain steps they need to think about in this area or in that area? For example, social enterprise or IT or communications or something like that.
Yeah, we're leaving it open. Our definition of entrepreneurship is, an initiative that creates value, and the value, the outputs need to be greater than the inputs. So we've put up a couple of different sort of examples of different categories. You mentioned social impact. The happiness was a sector. There's financial, if you want to start a business. But we're not saying, it needs to be a tech or medical or biotech or agricultural. It's really open to, these kids, if they've got an idea and they want to create value. And again, value can be something as simple as making somebody laugh to, aspiring to be the next Elon Musk and send rockets to the, rockets to Mars. We're open. And I think, we've got some of the criteria. It's really, impact to your community. Now, your local community, your state community, your national community, that's going to go into judging the criteria on the pitch. It's also just the overall effort, the presentation, and again, I think how much effort you've put into it. So that's how we're judging it.
Okay, it may be a very silly question to ask, but still, that's a question. Like kids nowadays are smarter than the generation what you and I are. But what happens if the kid is not that IT friendly and the parents are not able to help him? Is there any resources or a guideline or the phone number where the person can contact and ask the questions, and get some guidance for the
100%.
pitching?
No, yeah, that's a great question and a great point. I think, again, a lot of, we take for granted that there are kids that are so much, like I said, I've seen kids doing things that I'm just like, what application is that? Or where did you get that code? Or what is, so, but we often, like you said, forget that on the other end of the extreme, there are people that don't have that same level of access to those tools, or people that are showing them how to use those. We are offering free workshops.
Okay.
So over the school holidays, if there is interest, on the website, there is a expression of interest, and we're just waiting to get enough slots or enough students, and we'll contact people. The interesting thing is, again, we don't want to have a big group of 40 students in a virtual class. So we're going to really limit it to 16 students per class. And I think one of the benefits of COVID has been that everybody's used to having a video conference or a virtual session. So we don't need to wait for 16 students from New South Wales or from Tasmania. We can take 16 students from across, Australia, which I think is an interesting one for the kids, that opportunity to jump into a virtual session and, be looking around the classroom and seeing that, okay, there's somebody from Perth, there's somebody from Tassie, 2 people from Vic and 1 from New South Wales, and we're all doing this competition. And, again, the ideas may be different, they may be similar. So, but there is the opportunity to sign up for, like I said, a virtual webinar and session on how to create the pitch. And those are going to be just 30 minutes. So, but if you need to take a couple of them, or if we get interest that they want to take sort of a level 2, we've got enough capability to definitely adapt and meet the needs of where we see it.
If you can share your website address, or if there any phone number.
So it's all on the web right now. It's www.firstpitch.com.au. And there is that expression of interest, and email's the best way to respond to us in terms of if you need to set up, like I said, some group sessions on how to get more suggestions or more advice, or any questions about, what is this the right idea? We do have a frequently asked questions section, which we think it covers, like I said, some of the questions that they'll get. But obviously, if we get a couple of questions that are on that same thread, we'll update that so that you can do some self-search and find some of that stuff. And I think most kids, again, they're pretty good at using the Google search or searching websites.
They do. But still, I'm just sharing. If anybody has any questions, you can write it in the comment, and I'll try to compact all the questions and ask Jim. And I think I'll share the email addresses or the contact where you can communicate directly without me. But yep. I can be the medium of communication if you can write down your questions in a comment box, or if you have any queries or anything there. I'm also going to share the website link in the comments, so please don't miss to check it out. Anything else I'm missing, Jim, here?
I don't think so. You've done a really good job of asking, like I said, all of the questions. I think, one of the areas, I guess, that we haven't really talked about is the anxiety and just uncertainty that we're seeing with school kids. Yeah. I think, as adults, we definitely feel it, and we are exposed to it, and we see it a lot more with layoffs and the challenges and having to, like I said, try and manage the household from remotely. I'm coming to you, like I said, we're in Melbourne, so we might be the exception to the rest of Australia, but there is still a level of uncertainty. And I think one of the feedback we got was this has been really helpful in terms of talking to our kids or our children about naming, that anxiety or that fear. And we always go back, at least in our house, we go back to the Voldemorts and the Harry Potter, he who cannot be named. And it's interesting. I think, when you talk to somebody who is a clinical psychologist, they talk about, some of that first step that you goes to sort of dealing with these issues is putting a name to it. Yeah. So it's a roundabout way, I think, to provide a little bit of therapy. And I'm not saying that this is, going to cure anything other than hopefully kids, again, understand that they do have some control on what's happening to us, regardless of the circumstances. And the skills of being an entrepreneurial and the entrepreneurial mindset in terms of, you know, trying to solve problems with scarce resources and just be creative. It's something that, like I said, I think everybody has that in them. Really understanding, you know, how you can use it to your advantage is really helpful.
That's super great. So all the kids over there who are listening to us or who will watch this video post live stream through the different groups of the social media, please do take part of this. Expand your limitations, have your creativity, show the world what you have inside. You may be the next person in the world who want to be the very famous as an entrepreneur or as an enterprise. Thank you so much, Jim, for your time. I think wish you all the best, all the kids and you, for the success of this event. And I'll be very, very happy to go live with the winner of this competition.
Well, thank you. Well, I would love to come back in the end of October after the grand final and give you an update on how it all went. So even if it's just a short update, but thank you again for your support for this and appreciate the opportunity. And again, it's www.firstpitch.com.au. And like I said, all of the information should be there. So thank you very much, Rita.
Thank you so much, Jim. Have a nice day.
Bye now.